And with patch 7.1.5 just around the corner, I thought I'd go through what my top 5 would be for the features coming through. Now this of course will not include anything to do with Nighthold because that's a separate thing, even though it's sort of coming out at roughly the same time, not necessarily exactly the same date. So Nighthold itself is not a feature of patch 7.1.5. The ability to upgrade our legendaries to item level 940 is not, because that's a feature of Nighthold. So what are my 5 features of 7.1.5? Well, in number 5th place, it's going to be the Mop Time Walking. Now, Time Walking by now, although it's quite a popular feature, is a bit old hat. Is it really worth talking about here? Well, under normal circumstances, no. I mean, the Mop Dungeons, either you like them or you don't. I actually think they're going to work pretty well with Time Walking, because for Time Walking, although it's nice to go back and do these old dungeons, a lot of people treat them as they would with any looking for dungeon type dungeon. You want to get them done as quickly as possible, and the Mop Dungeons allow you to do that. But there is a very, very important thing you can get. Sure, you can get a new Cloud Serpent mount. Everyone likes the mounts, so a lot of people really like to collect them. But the one thing I am looking forward to, which I've not looked forward to in any other Time Walking thing, is the Yak Wash toy. So in Come Live Summit, those who did Mop will remember doing a quest where you gathered up yaks to put through the Yak Wash. Well, you're going to be able to get a toy now with the Mop currency. In number 4th place is the Legendary rebalancing. Now, Legendaries have been a system that I think has split opinion somewhat. My own opinions on Legendaries are pretty well known. I do not like the system. I think it's a terrible system. But it is what it is. Now, one of the worst excesses of this system is where you have situations where 1 or 2 legendaries are really, really powerful, and the rest are either by comparison completely useless, or perhaps even literally completely useless. So what's happening in patch 7.1.5 is they are rebalancing some of these. Some of the ones that were, you know, in the useless category are being made useful. In fact, some of them are going to become the BIS ones for certain classes and specs. Where there were very, very few output legendaries, even though Blizzard have said they don't really want output legendaries, they've put them in already. They're actually increasing the number of those. So for Retribution Paladin, for example, we go from having 2 output legendaries to about 6. We're also getting 2 new legendaries for each class and spec, so there'll be a total of 10 you'll be wanting to obtain rather than just the 8. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I'll leave to you. But the upshot of all this is it means that when you get a legendary now, there's probably a smaller chance that it's going to be a disappointment. Especially as some of the very powerful ones are being nerfed to the point where, although they'll still be really useful, it's not as big a yawning chasm between not having good legendaries and having the BIS ones. Or at least that's the theory. We'll see how it works out. In number 3rd place are the micro holidays. So, of course, there's been a lot of really new features in Legion. There's a lot of stuff that gets us out into the world, which is one criticism that was very much levelled at Warlords of Draenor, the previous expansion. But despite the fact that there is plenty more to do, eventually it will all start to see samey in many people's views, because you're doing the same thing each day, even though there's a wider range of things that you can do. So enter the micro holidays. Now, every couple of months we already have seasonal events, such as we've got the Winter Veil going on at the moment. But these micro holidays, which appear once a month, and just going to last, rather than 2 weeks, they're just going to last 2 or 3 days. They're just something to add a little bit of change into there, change of pace. It's just something to encourage people to go out and do something a little bit different that day. There's not going to be any rewards attached to them. There's not going to be anything that you'll need to collect. You won't need to do them. So if on those 2 or 3 days that it's active, you're not really wanting to do them, it's no big deal. You don't feel you have to. It's just something there. It's a bit of fun, a bit of a distraction, and you can take it or leave it. The first of these will be on the 21st to the 23rd of January, and it will be the Call of the Scarab, which is what was previously described as the Anchorage Remembrance Day. It'll take place in Silithus, which is a zone that was during vanilla, and it's based around the opening of the gates of Anchorage. In this particular case, it's just a contest between the Horde and Alliance for who can turn in the most resources from various things, and the winner gets their faction's banner over the gates of Anchorage for the rest of the year until the following one. In second place is the Brawlers Guild relaunch. Now, Brawlers Guild has been reasonably popular. It's not been a feature that I've particularly enjoyed that much, but although I can see how it is a really good piece of content. So, in the last couple of expansions, we've had a Brawlers Guild where basically you queue up to do a fight, and if you win the fight, you can go up and you challenge another one. You go up the ranks, you can get various minor rewards. Other people are watching you as well, so there's that sort of element of, oh, you don't want to cock this up because there'll be other people watching you while you're doing it. But they felt that they wanted to do it a little bit differently for Legion. So the Brawlers Guild was disabled when Legion launched, and they're bringing it back now in the new revamped version. So it will have the same basic features as it had before. It'll have some new things in there, but there'll be a few changes as well. For example, there'll be a random chance of suddenly like a raid boss appearing there, and everyone who's queuing up will suddenly get sucked into it, and we'll all sort of share in victory or defeat. You can also get Brawlers Gold, which will allow you to purchase certain things. Some of the more interesting things can be purchasing like a graveyard there, so that, and it's not just you that'll be able to use it, anyone that's there will be able to instantly respawn at the place. You could also put down like a keg that allows everyone in the area to get free potions as well. Now, my number one for this one, I think, is something that a lot of people will be looking forward to, which is a double whammy of artifact knowledge catch-up. Now, there are two elements to this. One is the literal catch-up, which means that even for new players, as soon as you get to level cap and you start the quest to get artifact knowledge, rather than having to put them in as work orders, for the first 15, you will be able to just purchase them with order resources. So if you've got enough to get the first 15 straight off, then you'll be able to blast yourself up to artifact knowledge 15, no problem. After that, it will go on the normal cooldown. However, if this is for alts, let's say you've already got your main character quite a few artifact knowledge levels by now, and by then, on my main, it'll be at least, it's 23 at the moment, it'll be at least 25, depending on when it comes out. You can actually buy yourself a compendium that is account bind, and you can send it to a new alt. Now, as we can see here, on the PTR, I'm not able to copy any more characters at the moment, but I did copy this character quite a long time ago, as you can see. It's got artifact knowledge 14. Now, what that means is when I go to the vendor, I can buy a compendium that will blast any of my alts up to artifact knowledge 5. And it costs like 1,000 order resources. So it's already cheaper. So instead of costing my alts, which will want its order resources, 2,500 to get 5 artifact knowledge levels, it'll cost just 1,000. And it's costing it on the character that's got more order resources than it really needs. I don't need a lot of order resources at the moment. But it gets better. It's not just get a free 5. You can get up to, it's in multiples of 5, but you can never have it within 5 artifact knowledge of the character you're buying it on. So this one is artifact knowledge 14, as I say. If I learn this pattern and take it to artifact knowledge 15, all of a sudden I can actually buy the compendium that gets an alt to artifact knowledge 10. If I was artifact knowledge 20, I'd be able to buy a compendium that gets you to 15. If I was artifact knowledge 25, I'll be able to get one that gets to 20. And as far as I know, and so on, there may well be a cap. I've not been able to test that, of course, because I can't copy any more characters. But what this means is that when you get an alt dinged roundabout now, as soon as this patch comes out, you will be able to pay just 1,000 order resources to get it pretty close to where your main character is, within round about 5. It's rounded off, as I say, so if you're on 24 artifact knowledge, you won't be able to buy a 20, you'll only be able to buy a 15, but potentially up to 5 levels of where your artifact knowledge is on your main character. So there we are, that's my top 5 features of patch 7.1.5. What are you most looking forward to? Comments below as always. Hope you found this interesting as always. If you did, don't forget to like, share and subscribe as well. And until next time, I'll see you later.